Hey girl, welcome to our final week of how to turn your mess into God's message. Are you just glad to be past? We're finally to the end of this series, and we're finally looking at what's the message of the mess. And that's what we're going to be looking at today, is the message from your mess. All the positive things that God has done through it.
Let's get on to the good stuff.
Amen. Let's get on to the good stuff, sis. And so, how has God taken your message, your mess, and given you a message? What message has He given you?
Oh, Laurie, I'd have to say that He has given me a message of hope.
Praise the
There
Lord.
is hope.
And such hope that you probably couldn't have even imagined.
No, the Lord has brought so much restoration, so much healing, and He restored my dignity from my childhood and from my own messes.
Yeah, because the truth is, girls, a lot of the messes that we find ourselves in, we're just innocent. They were things that were inflicted on us, and we were there was nothing we could really do about it. But a lot of us have taken that mess and we've just made it worse.
Yes,
we have to say we've made it messier by our own choices. And so God can restore your dignity,
Amen.
He
has, and He did.
He has. That reminds me of that verse in Proverbs.
Yes, Proverbs 31:25. Yeah. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she smiles at the future.
Are you smiling at the future?
I am smiling at the future.
That's awesome. You can smile at the future. You can have your dignity restored.
Amen.
There is hope. Even if you had a bad beginning, God can give you He can give you a good ending, and that's a glorious truth. That's a message from a mess. And you brought some resources with us today. Some things God used to help her move from that mess into God's message for her life, and one of those was a key Bible study.
That's right. This went along with the PBS.
Okay.
It'll change your belief system. Okay, to break that yoke, that bondage of the wrong thinking off of you.
And that's Beth Moore's study, of course, Breaking Free, and you did that, and that helped then transform your thinking, and transformed your mind.
And then I needed to make sense of all that, and so I did Seasons, And
that's a messy book. Y'all need to see this book. She's written all over the cover of it. Can you see that? This is one messy book, and as somebody who writes Bible studies, I love a messy book like that, sis. I love that.
That one really did help me in that season of discontentment.
Helps us to look back, because the Bible does see there is a season and a purpose in every season, and so it also, I think, it helped me. That was what God used to help me, teach me contentment in every season, and how to see the purpose sometimes when we really can't of all those seasons in our lives. And so God can set us free, can't He?
Amen.
He can transform our minds, and He can give us a new personal belief system. And He can also teach us even how to be content, even though the past, the seasons of our lives don't, still messy, and maybe we don't even know what the future looks like yet. We're still just waiting for that, hopefully that ending, that it's going to be a good ending, okay? And then I'm thinking about Romans 8:28, a great verse, that God works all things together for good, okay, for those who love Him. And so what are some of the good things you've seen God bring out of your mess?
Well, like I said, the restoration, the healing from that brokenness, and even my relationship with my father, in the relationship when you said, mentioned I'd moved from another state to Houston, and the Lord really has worked all that out, to be honest, and with my dad, and I've got a new stepmom who's just such a blessing to me and to my dad. I'm just so blessed to have her.
Yeah. When you leave those messes sometimes that other people, especially family, are involved in, sometimes restoration isn't possible. Some,times it wouldn't even be healthy to go back and for restoration to take place. But in some of those relationships, like the one with your father and now his stepwife and your stepmom, or his wife and your stepmom, he has I've watched him through the years just reestablish your relationship with your daddy, and just do beautiful things, and it's wonderful. So I would just say, listen, there is a possibility that God may even restore some relationships in your life, but also be real careful, because there may be some situations with some relationships in your past. They don't need restoration. They just need you need to let go of those things sometimes. They would be toxic to go back. That would be just leaving an open door for Satan to be able to take you back to where you don't want to go again. I think about what you told me one time. It's that verse in Philippians chapter 1, and I want you to just share that verse if you don't mind, from Philippians 1:6.
He who started a work in you will be faithful to complete it.
God is faithful, girls. Listen, He's faithful. One of my favorite verses about God's faithfulness is in 2 Timothy 1:16. And this is what it says. God remains faithful even when we are faithless. You know what? These messes, sometimes we make them messier, and do you know what? God is still faithful.
Amen.
He is still faithful. He's begun the work in your life. He's begun the work in my life. He's going to be faithful to complete it. And even during the seasons in my life when I'm faithless, when I make it messier, He still remains faithful. Oh, girls, listen, God can take your mess and give you a message. He can give you a message of hope. He can change your thought process and give you a new belief system. And He can use that mess to help you be able to encourage others who are in a mess like they don't think they can get out of. Listen, you can be used of God in a very, very instrumental way if you will let God take your mess and make it into a message. Christy, thank you so much for letting God do that in your life. Thank you for being my friend and my sister. We have enjoyed so much getting to be with y'all the past few weeks. Thanks so much for just being able to make your comments and your Facebook comments and stuff. We've loved hearing from you, and we'd love to hear this week what message has God given you from your mess, okay? What has He taught you? What would you tell others who are in a mess today? What can God do for them? What scriptures has He used to help you see that He can take your mess and make it into a message? We look forward to hearing from you this week on the blog and on the Facebook post. And until we see you next Friday, we'll see you again. Girls, we love you. Thanks so much for sitting on the porch with us through this whole series. We'll see you next Friday right here on Front Porch Friday. Bye, girls.